Hey you guys, so today I'm doing a 6th grade lesson on the attributes of three-dimensional objects. And I found this really cool website that is www.learner.org, and it has these really interactive geometric prisms and pyramids, and it's a really cool website. It gives you the definitions of pyramids and prisms. You can go back and forth between the two, giving you definitions and some examples and what a right pyramid is and not a right pyramid. And I found this website, and it's really cool. You can freeze the objects and move them around so you can kind of look at them from all directions. And it gives you different ones. You can look at like a rectangular prism, a pentagonal prism, an octagonal prism. And then they also have different types of pyramids. So let's take a look. So it has different types of pyramids, and you can look at it from all directions. You can look at it from bird's eye view, from the side, and flip it around. And it also has different types of pyramids that let you look at different types, different bases, and it also lights up the features. So if you press on faces, it will highlight it and show you kind of like all the faces. If you press on vertices, it will highlight the points of the three-dimensional object. And then when you press edges, it turns the edges green, so it's easier to see them when you look at them from an angle or from up top. And so today we're going to talk about these shapes and go through the vocabulary. And so we're going to start with the face. And the faces are the flat surfaces. And so if you had this in your hand, you could feel that this triangle right here is very flat, or this rectangle here is very flat. So if you were like to shape the object using your fingers, you would be able to see the two-dimensional shape within your fingers. So if you made a triangle with your fingers, you could see the triangle. So if your fingers were kind of on the edges of this shape, of this face, you could see your fingers make the triangle. You could see it form the triangle. And the edges are when two faces intersect. So this face here is a triangle, and this face here is a rectangle. And when they intersect, you can see this green line here, and that is an edge. The edge is also like, if you were to shape it with your fingers would be the edge making. It would be making the edge. Also, the next one is the vertices. And the vertices are when the edges meet. And you can see this edge here, and this edge here come to this point right here. And if you had this object in your hand, you would be able to feel the point or the corner of the three-dimensional object, which would make the vertice or the vertex. And multiple vertexes are vertices. To name a figure, the name would come from the bases. And so for this one right here, you can see in the corner it says triangular prism. And that is because right here it makes the triangle. And on a prism, there are two bases. They are congruent to each other, and they are parallel to each other. And the basis is what names the figure. So this is the triangular prism. Here we have a rectangular prism, because right here we have rectangles. Right here, this is a square, but also a rectangle. And so the congruent bases is what names the prism. And it also does the same for a pyramid, but a pyramid only has one base. And so let's take a look at a pyramid. Right here we have a triangular pyramid. And we can look at the number of vertices. And right down here it says how many, but you can count it as well. 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. The edges, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 edges. And the number of faces, we have 1, 2, 3, and we would have to move it for the fourth one. And with a triangular prism, it's a little hard to see, but in the corner right here, you can see a net of a triangular prism. And that really helps you see the number of faces that three-dimensional objects have. And so let's look at the pentagonal prism. When we freeze the pentagonal prism, we can see the base, and the base is what names it. So this is a 5-sided two-dimensional shape, which is a pentagon. And the pentagon names the pyramid. So this would be a pentagonal pyramid. And then let's take a look at the hexagonal pyramid, just for fun. And so here we go. We can light it up, turn it green, and take a look at the hexagonal prism. It would have a number of 12 edges, and the edges will come from the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we all know that hexagonal, or hex, means 6. Right here, we can see the next 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's what brings the pyramid up to its point, or its top vertex. And so this website's really cool because you can move the object around. You can highlight, again, the vertices. You can freeze it. It helps you pull it around a little bit more or count your vertices. Which is really nice. A lot of kids are having trouble with counting the number of vertices, the number of edges, and faces when it comes to looking at nets or diagrams. And when you have the object in your hand, it's a lot easier to point it, to mark it. But we don't always have that feature. And it's really nice to have a website that will allow you to pull it around and move it. So again, let's take a look. This one has different types of pyramids, and then you can also bring it back to different types of prisms. They give you a couple of examples, and then they show you different types. They show you some of the regular ones, like we see a lot of rectangular prisms around, like a tissue box. Pentagonal prisms are a little bit different. Same with octagonal prisms, and we all know these shapes. So, if you're ever looking for a site that kind of lets you move objects around and take a look at them when you're not able to have them with your hand, this is a great website to use.